The story begins with Marcus, a black delivery driver in his early 30s, navigating a bustling city during rush hour. His day starts early, delivering packages from dawn to dusk to make ends meet. Marcus lives in a modest apartment with his young daughter Maya and his elderly mother, Clara, whom he supports financially. His wife passed away a few years ago, leaving him as the sole provider for the family. Despite his circumstances, Marcus is an optimist. He's well liked by his co-workers for his friendly demeanor and known among his customers for always going the extra mile. He often encourages others to keep pushing no matter what, but privately he feels the weight of his struggles. His delivery van is old and frequently breaks down, adding stress to his already packed schedule. On this particular day, Marcus is shown waking up before sunrise, preparing a simple breakfast for Maya and Clara. He smiles as Maya hugs him goodbye before school, but his face changes to a look of quiet determination as he steps out into the cold morning. The audience sees his grueling routine, loading heavy packages, navigating difficult routes, and dealing with irate customers. During his break, Marcus pulls out a sketch pad where he jots down plans for starting his own business, a dream he's had for years. However, the reality of his finances makes it feel like a distant goal. The scene ends with Marcus delivering a package to a posh office building. As he looks around at the luxurious surroundings, there's a moment of self-reflection. One day, I'll be more than just a delivery driver. One day, I'll build something of my own. It was an unusually hectic day for Marcus. Deliveries were pouring in non-stop, and the winter chill was biting harder than usual. Despite the exhaustion creeping in, Marcus kept his focus. His well-worn van rattled as he drove down the busy streets, his GPS directing him to his next destination. He glanced at the clock on his dashboard. It was already 3 p.m., and he was running behind schedule. As he parked outside a bustling office building to deliver a package, Marcus couldn't help but admire the towering structure. The sleek glass exterior reflected the cityscape, a stark contrast to the modest neighborhoods he frequented. Stepping into the building, he felt out of place, but greeted the receptionist warmly as he handed over the package. On his way back to the van, Marcus noticed something on the ground near the parking lot. At first, he thought it was just a discarded piece of trash, but as he got closer, he realized it was a leather wallet. It was a designer brand, the kind Marcus could never afford but recognized from commercials. He picked it up, glancing around to see if anyone was nearby who might have dropped it. The wallet felt heavy in his hands. Curious, Marcus opened it to find a thick stack of cash, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. His heart raced as he flipped through the compartments. There were credit cards, a driver's license, and even a business card. The license identified the owner as Edward Reynolds, a name that rang vaguely familiar. A quick look at the business card revealed the man was the CEO of a prominent tech company. Marcus stood there for a moment, weighing his options. The money could change things for him. He thought about Maya and Clara, about the overdue rent and the repairs his van desperately needed. But deep down, Marcus knew what he had to do. Taking the money wasn't an option. Not for someone who prided himself on doing the right thing, no matter how hard life got. He climbed back into his van, placing the wallet on the passenger seat. The rest of the day passed in a blur as Marcus completed his deliveries, but his mind kept wandering back to the wallet. He could have easily turned it in at the office building where he found it, but something told him to handle this personally. He wanted to ensure it got back to its rightful owner. By the time Marcus finished his last delivery, the sun had set, and the city was bathed in the warm glow of streetlights. Sitting in his van, he pulled out the business card again and stared at the address printed below Edward Reynolds' name. It was across town, in an affluent neighborhood. Despite his fatigue, Marcus decided to make the trip. The drive was long, and Marcus's van sputtered a few times along the way. He prayed silently that it wouldn't break down. As he approached the neighborhood, the contrast from his own was striking. Gated mansions lined the streets, each more extravagant than the last. It was a world Marcus had only seen in movies. He pulled up to a sprawling estate with a wrought iron gate and pressed the intercom button. A stern voice answered. "Who is this?" Hi. My name is Marcus. I found a wallet that belongs to Mr. Reynolds, and I wanted to return it," he explained. There was a brief silence before the voice replied, "Wait there." Moments later, the gates creaked open, and Marcus drove up the long driveway. His nerves grew as he parked in front of the grand entrance. The sheer size of the house made him feel small, but he reminded himself why he was here. The door opened, and a middle-aged man stepped out. He was impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, his salt and pepper hair neatly combed. Marcus immediately recognized him from the picture on the driver's license. This was Edward Reynolds. "You found my wallet?" Edward asked, his tone skeptical but not unkind. "Yes, sir," Marcus said, pulling it from his jacket pocket. "I found it near an office building downtown. Everything is still inside." Edward took the wallet and quickly inspected its contents. His expression softened, and a small smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. "Everything is here," he said, almost in disbelief. "You have no idea how much trouble you've saved me." "Thank you." "It's no problem, sir. I just wanted to do the right thing," Marcus replied, shifting awkwardly on his feet. Edward's gaze lingered on Marcus for a moment, as if he were trying to figure him out. "You're a delivery driver?" he asked, noticing the uniform. "Yes, sir. Just trying to make an honest living." Edward nodded thoughtfully. Most people wouldn't have gone to this trouble, especially not with this amount of cash involved. Marcus shrugged. "I was raised to do what's right, no matter the circumstances." Edward's smile grew. That's a rare quality these days. He reached into his wallet and pulled out a few $100 bills, extending them to Marcus. "Here, as a thank you for your honesty." A few days passed since Marcus returned the wallet, and life went back to its usual rhythm. His grueling delivery job, the morning rush to get Maya ready for school, and the late-night hours spent brainstorming his dream business were still his reality. Marcus often wondered if returning the wallet would lead to anything more, or if it was just a fleeting moment of kindness. One chilly morning, Marcus was finishing his deliveries when his phone buzzed. He fished it out of his pocket, expecting another message from his boss or a reminder about an overdue bill. Instead, the screen displayed an unknown number. "Hello?" Marcus answered hesitantly. "Hello? Is this Marcus?" a familiar voice asked. "Yes, this is he," Marcus replied, unsure of who was calling. "This is James Reynolds," the voice said. "I hope I'm not interrupting your day." Marcus's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't expected to hear from Mr. Reynolds again. "Not at all, Mr. Reynolds. It's good to hear from you." "I've been thinking about our conversation," Mr. Reynolds said. "You mentioned that you've been trying to start your own business. I admire your ambition and your honesty. I'd like to help." Marcus blinked, stunned. "Help?" "Yes," Mr. Reynolds continued. "I believe in rewarding people who do the right thing. Could you meet me at my office tomorrow morning? I'd like to discuss an opportunity with you." Marcus struggled to find the words. Thank you, sir. I'll be there." "Good," Mr. Reynolds said. "I'll see you at 10 a.m. The call ended, and Marcus stared at his phone, a mix of excitement and disbelief washing over him. For the first time in years, it felt like his hard work and integrity were being acknowledged. The next morning, Marcus arrived at Mr. Reynolds' office promptly at 10 a.m., dressed in his best clothes, a simple button-down shirt and slacks. Though nervous, he reminded himself that he had earned this moment. The receptionist greeted him warmly this time and escorted him to Mr. Reynolds' private office. The room was spacious, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning view of the city skyline. Mr. Reynolds stood by his desk, a welcoming smile on his face. Marcus, it's good to see you again, he said, shaking Marcus's hand firmly. Please have a seat. Marcus sat down, still unsure of what to expect. I'll get straight to the point, Mr. Reynolds began. Your act of honesty and the way you carry yourself left a strong impression on me. I believe you have the qualities needed to succeed, not just in your current job, but in something far greater. Marcus listened intently as Mr. Reynolds continued. I'd like to invest in you, he said. Tell me more about your business idea. I want to see how I can help you bring it to life. Marcus's mind raced. He had never had the chance to share his ideas with someone of Mr. Reynolds' stature. He explained his vision for a logistics company that focused on ethical practices and providing opportunities for people in underserved communities. People like him, who just needed a chance. Mr. Reynolds nodded thoughtfully. I see potential in this, he said. Here's what I propose. I'll provide the initial funding to get your business off the ground, and in return, I want you to work hard and pay it forward when you're in a position to do so. Deal? Marcus felt a lump in his throat. This was more than he had ever dreamed of. Deal, he said, his voice steady despite the overwhelming emotions. Marcus walked out of Mr. Reynolds' office with the folder clutched tightly in his hands, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. For the first time in years, he felt as though his hard work and resilience were finally being rewarded. But with this newfound opportunity came a sense of responsibility. He had to make this work, not just for himself, but for Maya and the people he hoped to inspire. That evening, Marcus sat at the small kitchen table in his cramped apartment, poring over the documents Mr. Reynolds had provided. The folder contained a detailed plan outlining the investment, business development advice, and resources to help him start his logistics company. There were also introductions to potential mentors in the industry and contacts for suppliers who could support his vision. Maya, curious about her father's intense focus, wandered over. What's all that, Daddy? Marcus smiled and pulled her onto his lap. This, sweetheart, is the beginning of something big. Daddy's going to start his own business. Maya's eyes lit up. Really? Does that mean we'll have a house with a backyard one day? Marcus hugged her tightly. Yes, baby girl. One day we'll have that backyard. The next morning, Marcus began his journey toward building his dream. He started by registering his business and reaching out to the contacts Mr. Reynolds had provided. He spent hours researching the logistics industry, learning about supply chains, delivery networks, and operational strategies. It was overwhelming at first, but Marcus was determined to absorb every bit of information he could. Mr. Reynolds remained a steady source of guidance, checking in regularly and connecting Marcus with industry professionals who shared valuable insights. One of these professionals was Linda, a seasoned logistics manager who had started her career under challenging circumstances, similar to Marcus's. She became his mentor, teaching him the ropes and helping him avoid common pitfalls. Marcus, Linda said during one of their late-night phone calls, you've got the passion and the grit. That's half the battle. The other half is surrounding yourself with the right people and staying true to your vision. Encouraged by her words, Marcus began assembling a small team of like-minded individuals who believed in his vision of an ethical logistics company. Some were former delivery drivers like himself, while others were young people looking for their first break. Marcus made it a point to hire those who had faced challenges similar to his own, creating a supportive and empowering work environment. Weeks turned into months, and Marcus's company, aptly named Phoenix Logistics, began to take shape. The name symbolized rising from the ashes, a reflection of Marcus's journey and the second chance he'd been given. The company started small, handling local deliveries and partnering with small businesses in the community. The first delivery was a momentous occasion. Marcus drove the truck himself, Maya riding along in the passenger seat. As they pulled up to the customer's house, Marcus turned to his daughter with a smile. "This is the start of something big, Maya. Remember this day." The customer, a local florist, was so impressed with the professionalism of Phoenix Logistics that she recommended them to other small businesses in the area. Word spread quickly, and soon, Marcus's company was handling more deliveries than he had ever imagined. Despite the growing workload, Marcus never lost sight of his mission. He implemented programs to help his employees advance in their careers, offering training sessions and educational support. He also ensured that his company maintained environmentally friendly practices, using energy-efficient vehicles and minimizing waste. One evening, after a particularly long day, Marcus sat down with Maya to share their usual bedtime ritual. "Daddy," Maya said, "I'm proud of you. You're working so hard, and you're helping other people too." Her words filled Marcus with renewed determination. He realized that his journey wasn't just about building a business. It was about creating a legacy for his daughter and proving that kindness and integrity could lead to success. As Phoenix Logistics continued to thrive, Marcus began receiving invitations to speak at community events and business forums. People wanted to hear his story, how a single act of honesty had transformed his life, and how he was using his success to uplift others. At one of these events, Marcus stood before a packed auditorium. He spoke about the challenges he had faced as a black man, struggling to make ends meet, and the importance of staying true to one's values. "Success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself," he said. "It's about how you use that success to make a difference in the lives of others." The audience erupted into applause, and Marcus felt a deep sense of fulfillment.